I think we can all agree that the future of work is remote. More companies are switching up their business model to adopt remote work policies, and more people, especially skilled talent, are demanding that their work be flexible and give them more freedom. So let's talk about a couple of different factors that are going to increase the adoption of the future of remote work, and starting out with the innovation curve. So if you're not familiar with what the innovation curve, it basically states that for any type of innovation that happens within technology or the world or society, there are different levels of adoption. So the first adoption there are the innovators, the very small percentage of people that do it first. They test everything out. They basically fail and fail hard, and the rest of us get to learn from those few people. And then there are some early adopters, which you can see is about 14% of people that follow right after the innovators have done some of that initial failing and learning, and then it goes to the early majority, late majority, and laggards. So throughout this course of time, you see this adoption of different things. What we're talking about specifically is obviously remote work. I think that we're somewhere within the early adopters heading towards the early majority because of a lot of the things that have happened in our society and that are going to happen in our society. And those are a lot of like different external forces. So when we think about the external forces that I'm talking about, those particular things are, one, obviously the coronavirus, which has become the largest remote work experiment ever in the world, and it's ushered in more and more companies to consider, hey, we're going to actually go fully remote and we're not going back to the office. Another thing is Gen Z. Gen Z is entering the workforce, and one thing interesting about them, they've lived their entire lives with the internet. No other generation has had that. So it's going to be really interesting to see when they enter the workforce what their expectations are of remote work. And I think more and more millennials, for instance, will be in management positions, and they're more likely to adopt remote work as well. So those few things are going to be interesting. And then internet access for more people. By 2022, 6 billion people will have internet access, which is unprecedented, which is crazy. And data, again, is like doubling or tripling every single year. So a lot of these things with the digital transformation that happens within our society so frequently and so rapidly, it really does kind of impact the way that remote work is adopted, because the society has to keep up with the demands of the people, and some of these external forces are pushing it further and accelerating it even more. And that means more remote jobs, right? Well, yes, technically it does mean more remote jobs. More people are searching for remote jobs, and more remote jobs are being offered by companies. But that is a paradox, because now you have this influx of people entering the workforce expecting to get remote jobs and expecting to be able to apply to a remote company, remote position, and get that job. The problem is there's a huge gap between not only experience that people have with remote work and that adoption that they have personally. There's a learning curve to that. And then also a lot of these companies having issues managing their new remote workforce, which is a totally new and different thing. So we're going to see a lot of these bumps in the road, so to speak. But I think one of the big things for you as you're taking this course is to think about the fact that there are so many people out there that stand to be at a disadvantage because they're not taking this course, for instance. So they're not educating themselves on what it is they need to do to stand out, what it is they need to do to properly work remotely, what it is they need to do to network with the right people. So those types of things we'll definitely be covering. But I just wanted to give you a framework for understanding the background of remote work, and then where it's going in the future and what you might be able to expect.